Here I'm starting with 4 eggs and about 2/3 a cup of sugar. I use a little more than the half when it's just a little bit sweeter. Half's not very sweet. So now I'm just mixing those together real good. Let them beat together, the eggs and the sugar. And as we're waiting for that to happen, I'm now going to start adding the yogurt. Now this is a little slower process, so as you can see, it's just going to take me a while to scrape all the yogurt out of the bowl. This is 500 grams of yogurt. I weighed it on my scale. If you look it up, I should have hit the scale thing for ounces, but if you look it up, it's like 17.67 ounces. So use 18 ounces of yogurt if you got ounces. If you don't have a gram scale or don't know what grams is. So that's the only thing I use my scale for. Everything else, I use measuring cups and regular American type standards. So this cake comes more from Europe, so the original recipe is all in metric measurements. Now, this is 1/3 a cup of cornstarch I'm adding now. This just helps thicken it up and bind it together. The eggs and the cornstarch do. And by the way, I didn't mention that in the notes. The spring pan is an 8.5 inch spring form. So I have bigger ones. So this is one of the smaller ones. If you want to put a bigger one, you might want to double the recipe. But this works in an 8.5 spring board. I'm just wiping down the sides now, getting off the stuff that's on the sides down into it, so I'll get incorporated well. And just continue to mix on. And as we're waiting here for it to all come together, you can enjoy some of the music. Okay, now I'm going to be adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla. You can put a little more vanilla if you want. I'd probably gone 2 teaspoons of vanilla if I wasn't doing some lime today, lime zest and some lime juice. But since I'm using some lime, I think 1 teaspoon of vanilla is enough. If I wasn't using any lemon or lime, I'd go with 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So letting that get all mixed in, and I'll be adding the lime zest next. And I'm adding half of a lime that I'm squeezing in there. So I'll cut the lime that I just used in half, and I'd squeeze half of it in there. It was a pretty meaty lime. If it's a real juicy lime you have, you might want to not squeeze it real hard. I think maybe just, since you have the lime zest and a little bit of the juice, probably about a tablespoon of lime juice the most. Now I'm just put it all into the spring form, scraping it out, scraping it all off the sides. And we'll be putting it into a preheated oven that we've preheated at 350. And it says 35 to 45 minutes. Mine was closer to 45 minutes to come out clean with a toothpick. So I guess that just all varies on the oven. I mean, some may take 50, but usually the 35 to 45 minute range is going to work. And now we're getting ready to put it in the oven.